Hello everyone, and this is Mastermind coming at you with another strategy guide for Age of Mythology. This is going to be the Poseidon Rush. And to begin with this rush, what you're going to want to do is you're going to actually want to send your 3 villagers with your scout to the enemy base. After that, you're going to want to go ahead and use the lure on the town center, and then also start building villagers right away. You're going to want to send those villagers to food straight away as well, while your 3 villagers and your scout walk over to the enemy base. The reason that we're sending our villagers over there is because we're actually going to want to try to build some houses and actually get them to be destroyed on purpose from the enemy, so that way we're able to get some militia and able to harass their beginning economy. So once you actually have this set up here, you're going to want to select your scout and then hold down shift and just select all the way around the town center, so that way it's going to keep running around while you're able to build 2 houses and the enemy won't be able to actually attack. Now, if the enemy's kind of seeing this coming, what they can do is they can actually choose their town center to attack your villagers. However, most people will not do that, and they're just going to attack your horse instead. That's going to allow you to get 1 house off guaranteed and another house off as well. So that means that you're going to be able to get at least 4 militiamen from your houses here. You got to make sure you keep trying to get them to repair. Once that's built, you're actually just going to go ahead and retreat, and then after you have retreated, just go ahead and start cutting down some of their wood. You're going to need these 2 or 3 villagers if any of them have survived. You definitely need at least 1 to survive that initial encounter, so that way you can actually keep building a forward base near their base. So what you're going to want to do is just keep your villager production going, and then you're actually going to want to go ahead and get some people onto wood and eventually gold as well. So you're just going to want to keep that production going, and then once you got your woodcutters down there, just go ahead and just kind of wait for them to destroy those houses. The town center will do that for you. It will take a little bit of time, but once they do take it out, you will have some militiamen that you will have essentially gotten just for some wood, which is one of the best trade-offs that you can possibly do. Just for about 50 wood, you can actually get 2. They are slightly better than villagers, and they're going to be able to harass the enemy. While we're waiting here, if you guys are interested in any other type of rushes, just let me know what kind of rushes that you're interested in seeing, and I will happily make some guides on those as well. So you're just going to want to keep their production up, keep their production going, and whenever you get a good number of villagers, I'd say at least 5 or more on the food, then you're going to want to start being able to go and get some people on gold as well, so that way you can go ahead and get your temple going. And then now that you have your temple built, you're going to be able to start getting that food going, and you're going to be able to start working towards that classical age. It's important to remember to build houses near your town center, because the houses that you do have built right now are going to get destroyed. So even though it looks like you have a pretty healthy population, you will not here shortly. So you need to make sure that you do remember to build at least a couple houses back at your base, so that way you don't run into any type of population issues whenever you're trying to make troops as well as villagers. Rush potential, Poseidon does have a pretty strong rush option for being Greek. However, you do have those issues such as a Loki Herser rush, which might cause you some issues, as well as some other gods. However, he actually has a pretty strong advantage, Poseidon does, with having that cheaper cavalry and also being able to get those militiamen to help him fight. He does have a pretty strong advantage, and even if you do get Herser rushed, you do have those militia to help you fight while you're able to build up some defenses. So I do think Poseidon is a pretty decent option, especially going up against some of the ones that do take a little bit longer of a rush. You're trying to aim for getting a 12 to a 15-minute win. That's typically the average for the Poseidon Rush. That's what you're trying to aim for, to be able to end the game in that time frame. And you just really want to make sure you're paying attention to those houses' health, so that way when they do actually get destroyed, you're able to move the militiamen away from the town center and able to start attacking some of their structures. Now for Greek, it's not really required for you to actually attack the watchtowers. However, if you can, and if it's at all possible, do destroy at least one watchtower if you're versing Egyptians. So that way when they do get to the classical age, they're not able to get that free tower upgrade on one side of their base. So it's going to make pushing that side of the base a lot easier for you and your team. And as you can see here, basically what we're going to do is just wanting to disrupt their economy a little bit. Yeah, the villagers are going to kill the militiamen, and that's completely fine. All we are trying to do is just stall them out, and that's exactly what we're doing here. We're just basically stalling their economy. We've just tied up probably 5 or 6 of their villagers for a good 10 to 15 seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot of time, especially whenever your villagers are actually working non-stop during that entire time. Now the reason that I chose to go ahead and get the pickaxe here is because you don't have that many people on mines, and just getting that pickaxe upgrade is going to allow them, the ones that you do have on there, to actually be able to keep up with production a little bit better, since you haven't been able to make that full transition yet and you're still currently worshiping to get to the classical age. Just having that option to be able to get just a little bit more resources out of the few villagers that you do have, I think is an extremely beneficial thing, especially since we're getting ready to have to switch over to a lot of gold miners and a lot of food production, just to make sure that we're able to keep up with the stable production that we're getting ready to have. So since Poseidon does get cheaper cavalry, we are going to build 2 stables, and the reason that you do want to build 2 stables and not just one is because you're going to be able to double your production. So basically, instead of just being only able to produce 1 cavalry member, you're going to be able to produce 2 at the same exact time. And also, whenever you're ready to upgrade your cavalry to say medium cavalry, you're going to be able to upgrade 1 while still building more if your stables are being attacked by an enemy, or if you're just trying to keep production up. Being able to still produce while being able to research upgrades is extremely important in being able to do. This person researched centaurs, which isn't the strongest option for them. Cyclopses have a lot of health and are one of the strongest classical age mythical units in the entire game. You're going to want to make sure that you do keep your Cyclops for as long as physically possible, because his special ability, being able to throw the enemy minions into buildings and also into another troop member, is extremely important. Him activating ceasefire right now is not too big of an issue for me. I really wasn't going to attack this early on anyways, so him activating the ceasefire isn't really affecting me in any way. It just kind of reaffirms the situation for me though. However, since I did kill his centaur, I do have that mythical unit advantage at the moment. So maybe that's one of the reasons that you want to activate ceasefire if you were the opposing player, just because he might be expecting a rush coming in here soon. He's just trying to delay it just a little bit longer, so that way he's able to get a little bit more resources and get his barracks and stuff up. And as you can see there, he does have a barracks up as well, so that is probably the reason he did activate ceasefire, just to really guarantee that his villagers weren't going to get interrupted while they're building and finishing off those buildings. Basically right here, what I want to go ahead and do is just go ahead and activate Pestilence, so that way, even though they did just use that ceasefire and they did get the barracks off, it's going to seize all production from them right now. So even though they do have a couple of units right now, if they had any queued up whatsoever, or if they were just trying to be able to build up a smaller, bigger army while that ceasefire was going on, they're not able to actually use any of the resources to produce any kind of units to help protect their villagers right now. So that is one of the strongest things to use Pestilence for, is right when you're getting ready to engage the very first rush. Being able to just shut down their entire military economy, especially this early on, can be extremely beneficial for your entire team, and being able to actually take some buildings out and do some damage to their units and their villagers as well. One of the key things to remember whenever you're doing a rush is you're just really trying to disrupt their economy as best as possible. Not necessarily always focusing on buildings. However, buildings are important to take out because they do have to rebuild those, and that's going to cost resources. But being able to interrupt villagers is extremely crucial.
Λέγε. Μάλιστα. Ναι. Ναι. Λέγε. Πρόσταγμα. Μάλιστα.
Πρόσταγμα ορθός. Εις μάχη.
And since we are also versing Poseidon, every single time we do destroy a building, we are going to spawn those militiamen, which did help him win that fight right there, which is completely fine. And as you can see, they are attacking my temple right now, and I'm completely fine with losing my temple because I do not need to produce anything from that temple anymore. So that by them focusing on that temple, all they're going to do is just give me militiamen to be able to fight back against their own. So really, whenever you're versing a Poseidon, just remember that every single time you're going to destroy a building, you are going to give them more units to be able to fight back to you with. And especially in these early stages like Classical Age, that's when the militiamen really shine, because later on they become pretty worthless in terms of just their viability. However, right now they are able to really kind of hold their own against a lot of units and also just really disrupt economies. So by them destroying that temple right there, they actually helped me more than hurt me. If they actually would have went after the stables instead, I would have been a little bit more worried. However, them choosing temple was actually very helpful on my part.
Πρόσεχε. Ναι, ναι. Βούλωμα. Λέγε. Πάνω. Εισβολή. Καλώς.
And once you do feel like that you have a pretty big grasp on the battle at hand, and then when you're attacking their economy, you are going to want to go ahead and try to get that upgrade for the medium cavalry, because it will help out your team a lot. And especially since if they don't have their mediums yet, it's going to be a very big defining factor in terms of you being able to actually win a lot more fights against a lot of their any kind of units they're able to produce.
Βούλωμε, εις μάχη. Έτοιμος. Μάλιστα.
Πρόσεχε. Μάλιστα.
Πρόσταγμα, εισβολή, χώρο, έτοιμος, καλώς, χώρο, εις μάχη, εισβολή, χώρο. Έτοιμος, πρόσταγμα, πάνω, καλώς, καλώς, εις μάχη. Λέγε.
Πρόσεχε.
Λέγε.
And it's just important to really just kind of remember to, if they don't have very many military units, just kind of spread your troops out like I am doing here. Just keep making sure you're attacking a lot of their villagers. Keep up that kind of guerrilla warfare. Stay away from those watchtowers like they have those upgraded. I'm trying to stay away from them a little bit more until I can get a little bit bigger of an army to be able to take those watchtowers on. What you're just basically want to do is just kind of do zone denial. So like a lot of these villagers here trying to get resources, just keep attacking them. Keep making them just use their food, and keep making them waste time trying to get their villagers and get production going in their own town. So like you just want to basically just keep disrupting, and then basically what you're going to be doing here is you're just shutting down their entire economy. So like right now it's pretty much a good game for them. Like they're not going to be able to do too much to be able to counter this at this point. They don't have any military units they're trying to fight me back with, so that kind of just gives me the indication that they've pretty much they're not going to be able to come back at this point. They're still trying to get to food, they're still trying to do wild hunts, and that means that they're not able to get very many farms, which means they might be struggling on wood to build their farms. So it's pretty much going to be a good game at this point. And I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and let the game finish itself out. And if you guys have any questions at all, make sure you leave them in the comment section down below. And if you guys like to see more guides from other gods and being able to see more strategies, just let me know what kind of strategies you guys are interested in. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Πάνι, ορθός, εισβολή. Πάνι. Λέγε, έτοιμος. Λέγε, ορθός, ορθός, εισβολή. Έτοιμος, ορθός. Πρόσταγμα, εισβολή. Λέγε. Έτοιμος, εισβολή, εισβολή. Πρόσταγμα, λέγε, εισμάχη. Έτοιμος. Πρόσταγμα, εισμάχη. Έτοιμος. Πάνι. Λέγε, πάνι. Πρόσταγμα. Έτοιμος, πάνι. Έτοιμος. Καλώς. Βούλωμα. Καλώς, βούλωμε, ορθός, 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 μάχη. Λέγε, ορθός, ορθός, έτοιμο, βούλωμε. Πρόσταγμα, βούλωμε, πάνι. Έτοιμο, βούλωμε, ορθός. Πρόσταγμα.
Πρόσεχε. Βούλομαι. Ναι, βούλομαι. Λέγε.
Έτοιμο, εισμάχη. Λέγε, εισβολή. Πρόσταγμα, πρόσταγμα, εισβολή. Πρόσταγμα, πρόσταγμα. Λέγε, βούλωμε. Πρόσταγμα, ορθός. Πάνι, εισβολή.
Λέγε. Πρόσταγμα, γρητό. Έτοιμη. Ναι.
Έτοιμος. Πρόσταγμα. Έτοιμο. Εισβολή. Πρόσταγμα. Χώρο. Καλώς. Λέγε. Λέγε. Πάνι. Βούλωμε. Χώρο. Πρόσταγμα. Βούλωμε. Πρόσταγμα. Χώρο. Λέγε.